going on?
You're good.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get going. Thank you all for coming this evening, and I guess there's some folks maybe online. So when it frees up, because I hate cameras, apologize. But let's see here, we've got Marilee on there.
Hey, Marilyn, how you doing?
Anybody else?
Mary Gibby's on.
Penny,
Mary?
say hi to Penny Wilson.
Penny? Good job. Okay. I know you might have logged in because you thought you were going to vote tonight. We don't actually have any votes, at least as far as I know. But, you know, who knows what God's plans are. Maybe we'll vote. But I think everybody's got the agenda. Everybody's got the paper in hand, hopefully. We're good? Okay. So with that, we have Andrea who's going to open us in prayer. On her birthday. Happy birthday. 22?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear Lord, I thank you for this time that we have together to discuss things and hear what you have for us, Lord. I pray that you would bless this meeting and bless this time, and that you help us honor you and glorify you with all that we do at Cornerstone. And just thank you for this church. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Andrea. I think we're going to jump right into the numbers with Ryan leading the way.
And unfortunately, you might have to listen to me through the first 4, so if you came not wanting to listen to me, sorry. So, good evening, everybody. It's nice to be here, both with everybody in person and online. 2020 was a shocking year in many ways, and financially was nothing short of shocking and amazing. All year, I've been amazed at how strong Cornerstone's finances have been in the face of the pandemic, and it really showed the health of our church through the giving. So thank you to everybody who continue to give so faithfully and humbly. It's made my job really, really easy to go through the numbers. So let's go through things. If everybody has their reports, we'll start to look through the numbers, and we'll look at the full year of 2020 and do a review. Then we'll talk about the budget for 2021. So full year giving came in at $659,000. Total outflows, 551. So we actually had a net positive of just a little over 100,000. Pretty amazing in a year of the pandemic. And that was a combination of a couple things. One, our budget actually went down for the year, and our giving stayed very, very strong and healthy. Really, if you looked at our numbers this year compared to other years, and you didn't know there was a pandemic, you would think nothing happened. It was just a normal year from a giving standpoint. It's pretty incredible. So that's everything that flows through the church. That includes our special events ministry, short-term ministries, caring fund. Everything that comes in is in that top section in the box. As we start to look at our general fund, so our general fund is the next section down. We had a budget that was comprised of 2 different pieces this year. So we had a budget that went through the first 4 months of the year, what we thought was going to be our full year's budget, at $46,500 a month. We adjusted that to our COVID budget at $37,000 since we went to online virtual. And so our full year, we anticipated spending $482,000 on our full year budget. Our giving actually came in at $551,000 in our general fund, so we were actually over by $70,000. So really good, strong general fund giving in addition to overall giving. We gave away $170,000 through the 4th quarter. We maintained all of our global outreach, so that's the same number we do each and every year we had budgeted, $48,500. Local outreach, In Touch Ministries, $35,000, and that we didn't have any reduction there as well, so we did very good, both local and global outreach giving. Our caring fund, we were able to give out $12,000 of the $30,000 that came in, so we still have some room to give away. The middle school retreat brought in a little over $3,000 for Sanctuary Church, which was fantastic. We had 2 giveaway offerings this year. It actually split kind of into 3. So we had the public safety chaplaincy, which we raised about $15,000, and then we gave $15,000 out of our general fund to make up that $30,000. Rockwood Salvation Army, right at the end of the year, brought in almost $25,000, and No Way International brought in $16,000. So I think the combination of those 2 was one of the largest giveaway offerings we've had to date.
I think the public safety chaplaincy, I think it ended up, we took in 28.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we didn't give away that much out of general fund.
No, so that must have been some extra giving that I hadn't seen later on afterwards. So, as of January 10th, our balances were really healthy, so we have almost $280,000 in the bank. That is split between our caring fund, which has $22,000 in it, our general operating account, which is split between our money market and our general fund, $242,000, and then we have almost $14,000 designated towards mission trip, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. If you remember from our last meeting, before we go to the next page, we had moved some additional funds over into our money market savings. That was just a reserve to make sure we had some extra funds for COVID opening. I mean, fortunately, our balances and our main checking are really healthy, but just in case things started to soften up a little bit, we wanted some extra dollars. So we still have that available in our savings account as well. So very strong balances, very strong giving in 2020. All right, any questions? And we'll go to the next page. All right, next page, a little more detail, so focusing on our monthly giving versus our monthly budget. If you look down that budget column, you can see the first 4 months at our initial budget, then we adjusted that into COVID, and our differences each and every month. And we'll focus on that fourth quarter. Fourth quarter came in at $154,000 between the 3 months, so 3 very, very strong months. And if you think in December, we had our giveaway offering, which was about $50,000. It was a $100,000 month between general fund giving and our giveaway offering. It's incredible. I mean, again, I've been amazed at the health of our church just by seeing the numbers each and every month. Down in designated offerings or giving, so we have Noe's mission trip, Noe, and I guess it was England, so that was the combination of the two. Brought in $16,000 for the year, and then the caring fund has brought in $31,000 for the year. As I mentioned on the first page, we have $22,000 left of that. All right, and the last page on last year's finances. So we'll focus on that left-hand side, which shows our full year's year-to-date budget versus our expenses. That blue square in the bottom, we actually came in almost $12,000 under our planned budget in all-in expenses. Far left-hand side, you can see all the different ministry line items, the admin budget being the largest, and then all the ministry leaders' budgets going down. Everybody was very good with their expenses. All the ministry leaders did a very good job. There is one glaring red on there. You can look across and see who that ministry leader was.
Thank you.
We like to call out those that have really abused their budget for the year. We won't ask for an explanation. No, it came in very good for the year. It was a very healthy year, and giving came in strong, as I've mentioned many times. So nothing jumps out in the numbers as cause for concern. We were right on budget. In fact, so on the far right-hand side, I color code them just so you can see easily. Yellows are underspends, greens are right on, red's overspend. So really, by and large, we're either green or yellow across the board. All right, questions I can answer, and then we'll talk about next year's budget, what we're thinking. Light group tonight. Either I was that good, or...
I just want to say it took a lot of effort to spend 92% of the youth budget. I'm a little bit mad we didn't spend all of it. Some work.
I think you're making up for it this year.
I think so.
I think you've already made up
I
for it.
am, yeah.
Pretty good job, Shauna. You were, one of our good spends for the year. And it's great that we could continue to spend on youth ministries. All right, next page is a very similar looking page, this guy here, which is our 2021 budget as proposed. So the admin team met last week, and 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. And we put together our full year 2021 budget, what we're expecting, and any adjustments. And as you look down it, really the only item that really changed was our administrative budget. All of our ministry leaders' budgets are essentially the same. So if there's an adjustment we didn't make and you were really wanting an adjustment, please let us know. But this is what we're going off of so far for 2021. Our COVID budget was $37,000 a month. We're going to adjust that to $41,350 a month. So we're expecting some sort of normalization throughout the year. We know we'll be in some split scenario for a portion of the year. We'll have some sort of normalization. towards hopefully the second half of the year, and our expenses we would likely assume would start to go up. So we've assumed that in the administrative budget. In addition, we're budgeting a half of an additional associate pastor salary. So we're continuing to look for an associate pastor, and we budgeted in a half year's salary just in case that individual starts to rise to the surface. So all in, that's our budget for the year. We think that's a nice, strong budget, and you know, a few of these things don't come to fruition if we don't get an associate pastor. We're going to have probably a big overage anyways. Okay.
Several people have asked if we're paying anything to Pleasant Home, and the answer is yes. We're giving them $400 a week for being there, which is just about what we were giving the school. So, and they were delighted with that.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on the budget for 2021? Any ministry leaders looking at their own budget items? Any adjustments, any changes, any thoughts on your budgets? Special events ministries, Ashley, we don't know what that's really going to be, but you get the budget that tends to really fluctuate. It can either be really high or
I helped Barry spend some of that Sunday service budget too.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
Slightly guilty on that.
perfect. All right, that's Cornerstone's finances. Everything's looking good at this point, and we'll hope that 2021 brings continued good finances for the church. All right, so we talked about 1 and 2, next 2021 missions trips. And the quick around that is last year we had 2 missions trips planned. We had one to Noe down in Morelia, Mexico, and we had one to England that was going to be led by Andy and Jen Wilson. And of course around COVID we decided to cancel all of that, but we still have $14,000 raised. And our hope is that 2021 is going to bring enough reopening, enough vaccines, enough change that by late June, early July, at least one of our missions can continue to go forward. And I'll let Jen speak in a minute about what they're thinking on the England. But last year, Amy and I were planning on leading a trip to Noe, and we plan to continue to lead one this year. So we'd like to give everybody who signed up last year first priority. If you'd like to be part of the mission this year, please let me know as soon as possible. And I'd like to probably have a group of 15-ish. Is that about our number that we want to have?
Yeah, 12,
12 to
13,
15.
14.
Yeah. And we might be able to stretch it a little bit because we didn't do last year, and if there's some additional leaders that show up or sign up for it, that might be helpful if we have a little bit bigger group. So the tentative dates that I'm thinking about would be right after the Gresham Barlow school ends for the year, which would be June 20th through the 27th. So that's our tentative date. And I've already heard of a few interests, so if you are interested, please get in touch with me as soon as possible. Yes?
Is there going to be some sort of announcement? I mean, I know this is an announcement, but to let people last year know that they do have priority, or should we try to text the team from last year, or?
Yeah, I think I'm going to reach out with an email
Okay.
to let everybody know,
Cool.
and text to let them know, please, you guys have first priority. And then if there's additional, if you weren't on last year's group, please sign up anyways, and we'll put together a team, and I'd love to have a great response. Grace Point sent their team through COVID anyways, and they had a great successful trip. So
So do you anticipate it being a little different this year down there in terms of what you're doing?
yeah, that's a great question and point. So because Noe is all virtual, all their classes are virtual, and that probably isn't going to change by the time we get down there. But we have a huge remodel project going on at the big center at Primero, so the opportunity would be to help out on the center there, and then also be part of the community. And they always have lots of activities that they would plug in for us, even if school's not in session. But the hope would be things are getting back to normal, and we might be able to make graduation. Do you guys know what week? It's typically we usually get there in time.
Yeah,
for
it's like one of
graduation.
the last nights of the trip usually for us.
Yeah. So the hope is we might still make it there for graduation, yeah, still be part of the ceremony, and then be part of a lot of the other activities if they're back up and running.
Jen's over there.
Jen, what do you got for?
Mark said I had to come up, so you know.
I wasn't gonna make you come up.
I know, but he gave me strong arm for me. So where do I look? Right here. All right. So we're in a very similar spot with the England trip. It's a little trickier going to England. Right now they're totally in lockdown, kind of like we are here. With England, we have to get visas, and so that takes a little bit of time. So we've talked with Dan, who's the leader of the Oaks, last week, and they would love to have us come. They're planning to still do a work team. The question will just be if we can legally go be in the country. So, so the plan with that would be to just kind of hold off. If it happens, it'll be a very last minute thing. It'll be kind of April and May, vaccines are up, or they say we are safe to travel and we can get visas and we can go. So if it happens, we'll have to just kind of jump on it last minute, which we'd love to happen. Same thing, we've communicated with the team to say that they will get priority if they want to go. The same people that were signed up last year would get preference in going this year. So, so it's a big, we really hope, we think it would be great to do, but we just don't know yet. So what I told the team is that we will just, as soon as I get any green light from the Oaks or from England, we will let them know, and it'd have to be a last minute thing. So we've asked them to let us know if they are no longer interested or so, yeah. Any questions about that?
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, and if there's any concerns about COVID, what's going on down there, we keep in touch with Brian Overcast a lot. I sit on the board, so I kind of know what the situation looks like in Mexico. It is a little bit different than England, which is surprising to me. Third world country versus England, and they're more on lockdown than Mexico is. So anyways, we can talk about that if there's any concerns, yeah.
Would there, even though we have the money raised, would we still do any cake auction fundraising thing?
Yeah, likely. So what we had raised previously was not quite enough for everybody because that also included the England trip. So we would have to go through a fundraising round, but we do have a very good start to what the trip will cost for you. Yeah. Whether it's cake auction or something more targeted, I'm not sure yet.
I like cake.
I love cake too. I love cake. And the cake auction's so much fun. I don't know how we do that in the virtual world, but maybe we can recruit Jay again to be our auctioneer. He did a great job. All right, any other questions on missions? And then we'll transition to my last topic. All right, which is special Sunday offerings. So admin team met and talked about our special Sunday offerings. Typically we want to do 4 in a year. This year we're going to do 3. And the main reason around that, we actually really wanted to try to do 4, is we're here at the first members meeting. We don't have any proposals. So we really need the members to step up, and we want to give to things that the members want to give to. And we've reached from a great pool of organizations that we love and that we've given to many times, but we've given to those organizations over and over. So this is the appeal to bring some new ideas forward. If there's organizations that you work with that you would love to see be part of a special Sunday offering, bring them forward. And Barry's usually a good first point of contact. He'll get you the application and the process around it. Again, we want organizations. We don't want individuals or family, friends, or something like that that isn't an actual organization. So we do have a form that you have to go through. There are metrics that we want to see. But there's lots and lots of needs out there. So we would love to hear some new needs. Yeah.
And is it we don't try to give the same place like 2 years in a row, or 1 year in a row sort of thing, or is it every other year would be okay?
We try to do every other year, yeah.
Okay.
So we'd like to give it, it's once every, are we trying to do once every 2, Barry?
Yeah.
Yeah, once every 2. We've relaxed that a little bit around COVID because we had some great needs to meet, so we were able to relax that in 2 instances, one Salvation Army and then No Way. So there are some that we haven't given to in quite some time, like Sandy PRC is one that we haven't donated to in a while. Like I said, we could go back to some of those organizations and see what we haven't given to in a while and surface some of those, but it would be great for the next member meeting to have maybe 2 or 3 proposals. Proposal doesn't have to be long. Unfortunately, you might have to get up here for just a moment, or find somebody that will get up here for you and give the pitch or proposal. We'll make it pretty easy, but we would love to have some new organizations to add to the list, and things that the members really, really want to give to. This is our DNA. This is what makes Cornerstone Cornerstone. And being able to give to our community is one of the things my family really loves about being here. So think hard about what you're involved in and what you'd like to see benefited by Cornerstone.
So when do people need to get proposals in there?
When should they be in? That's a great question, Will. I think they should be in before the end of the first quarter, so that would be March 31st. And then we'll likely have a members meeting about 3 to 4 weeks after that, and we'd want to pitch the proposals at that point.
And we have to have some preliminary information if it's a new organization, and so you want to start, like now or very soon, getting that preliminary information. It's not hard to get, but takes some time sometimes.
And there might be some additional questions that surface if something's not quite clear, just because we want to make sure it is a real organization that has, good financial practices themselves. So we've run into situations like that before. You didn't understand something that was going on. So realistically, if it's an organization we've never seen, maybe get it in by the end of February would be great. That gives you a little over a month to get a proposal together. And again, we'll help with the proposal. Contact me, contact Barry, contact Stager, Mark Stager, and any one of us can talk about an idea, or if it's just something you're thinking of and don't know if it would resonate or if it's something we could give to, bring up the idea and at least we can talk about it and see if we can find some additional organizations that everybody wants to work with. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Ron. I really appreciate everything. Okay, next up is going to be staff updates, and we're going to start with Shauna.
Great.
And then you get to introduce your boss after that.
Oh. Okay, just a quick update on how youth is going. Middle school, we're meeting here at the office. About 30 students are, excuse me, husband. About 30 students are coming here. Waterfall. And 8 leaders. And then high school, we're actually meeting at Sanctuary Church, which has been a blessing because there's a lot of high schoolers and it's just really nice to be there. So we have about 35 students coming to high school group and 12 leaders. And this is the first time they're together ever with this group of freshmen. So that's it's been pretty special and a little crazy, but mostly special meeting with them. A need that youth has, we need more volunteer leaders, mostly for middle school group. And I know it might feel like a weird time to jump in, but you won't regret it. It's really fun. And I especially need help with our 8th grade boys. So if you have a heart for 8th grade boys, talk to me. In high school, we can always use more leaders because there's a bunch of kids, but middle school is our primary need for that. And then some prayer requests. We have our 2nd annual 8th grade retreat coming up in February. I'm nailing out that's not the phrase. I'm figuring out the details for that. And then for high school group, just for that they keep meshing. It's this freshman class brought a lot of life into our high school group, but I just don't want the other grades to be forgotten in the meshing. So, and then this is just a time where COVID and isolation has really hit hard for a lot of students, and emotionally, mentally. I feel like my general feeling is our kids are doing pretty well, and so that's more maybe for their friends that they're not dealing with, but helping walk through this time. And then, but the praise of that is our students are pretty healthy and they're really hungry for God's word. For example, our high school girls wanted to study Revelation this year, and we're doing it, and we're going through the entire book, and 2020 was a good year to do Revelation, but it's pretty incredible just how excited they are about that. So that's my update. Any questions?
What does it mean to be in middle school? What does that entail?
Brian. Yes, so we meet 7 to 8:30 on Tuesdays. It basically means just being an adult here during that time. We have a couple extra things we do, but those aren't always, the biggest need is Tuesday night, just being here. We have small groups and...
Is a part-time commitment anything you would entertain or no?
Always.
Okay.
I entertain any type of commitment. So ideally weekly, but anytime is. We've had parents before come once a month or whatever. So yeah, good question. Anything else? Boss man.
Good job. Hey, Brandon, would you come up and just pray for Shauna?
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for our youth. I just pray that you would continue to guide them. I just thank you for Shauna. Thank you for leadership. And I just thank you personally, just seeing the joy that my kids have that they come and spend time with their friends at church. I just thank you that they're able to get back to seeing their friends and doing that. And I just pray that you would just bless the group of children and kids and just that they would seek you. Amen.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks.
Well, I can say that being a volunteer on Tuesday night is not hard, and it is fun. The hard part for me is not knowing if I'm going to be able to figure out the game. So I kind of stay on the outside of the circle with the name and question thing, and if the game sounds too complicated, or if it's trivia about movies or something, okay, I'm probably out. No, it really is a lot of fun. They're great kids. And, you know, probably the first hour is game and name and question, you know, activity. There's about a 20 to 30 minute small group time where that's all, the questions are all written out ahead of time for that. And then they come back in and the teaching time, there's a snack in there somewhere too. So it really is, it's a great way. I have enjoyed just getting to know middle school kids. How am I supposed to get to know middle school kids if I'm not there on Tuesday nights? So it's been really fun. Otherwise, staff-wise, I think we're doing well. I'm really proud of our staff, just for all the adjustments that they've made all through COVID and particularly youth ministry. But also Eric and Ashley has just been a great help to me, and so I think we're doing okay. We're still trying to find Barry too, but we haven't found him yet, and that's just something to pray about, because I don't want to be 80 years old and still the pastor at Cornerstone. But we believe that God has a future for the church, and so we're looking forward to finding who that is that's going to be leading us. I did hear, it was kind of discouraging, but maybe kind of encouraging. I was at a pastor's meeting last week, and one of the pastors said he read an article. He said 1 in 6 churches is either has closed or is closing across the country with COVID. No, hey, that's going to free up a lot of pastors. But then they oversaw the failure of their church, so I don't know about that. So any questions on staff?
With the number of middle school and high school students that we have, do we have to add staff, or are we stable, or where's that at?
Shauna's always evaluating the hours that are allocated. She's got several part-timers, and she's got a pretty good system of using them all. And so we kind of depend on her to make recommendations if she needs more staff.
I'll tell you that adding Anna on this last year it's amazing.
Yeah.
She's so amazing, and to have another girl on staff
Did you
is
borrow Anna's pants?
helpful. Yeah, I thought you'd take a dig at me. That's why I wore them. I want to be more like Anna. So
You want to be more like him. All right. So that's that. 2021's all church retreat. And I'm going to toss some of this back to Shauna too. Did you make a phone call, Dave?
I did.
Okay, good. You know, we've always gone to Canby Grove, except last year we ended up canceling. We reserved last year. We rolled our deposit over to this year. And of course, probably not likely that we'll be able to lodge 200 people in the lodge and do the normal retreat at Canby Grove this year either. But we have been talking to Shelley, and so before Shauna, I give it to Shauna, and you can share that. What we're not planning on doing an all-church retreat at Canby Grove, okay? What we are planning on doing, and we already have the date, is a fall, full-day retreat, full family, and singles, I mean, everybody, October 3rd. I think it's the 3rd. It's a Saturday. It's the first Saturday in October. I know it's the beginning of rifle hunting season, but everybody uses bows now. Everybody's out in August and September anyway, so not a big deal like it used to be. But we have Trout Creek reserved for that, and it's the second. Okay, thank you. And Trout Creek has got a lot of activities and things, little pieces that we'll be able to get them to open up, and so we're looking forward to that. So that'll be and it's in October, so it's far enough away so that we should be able to have a really great event there. But we didn't want to give away the date at Canby Grove, and so Shauna, come back to you.
Okay. I don't have a full-on report because it's all being worked out, but we are going to try to do our middle school and high school summer kickoff there instead of at Blue Lake, I think is where we usually do it. So we're still working out the dates because she had some information wrong. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
But so we're going to try to do it sometime in the summer. And they have a pool and lots of things, all the activities. So
Good, okay,
yeah.
thanks, Shauna. They actually have their pool open right now. So if there's any swim teams, there is a swim team that is paying them to heat their pool to 85 degrees. And they're using it for practice, because wherever they were practicing, they won't let them practice because they have an outdoor pool. So I don't know. Water polo people could be good. So anyway, yeah, and Shelley at Canby Grove is really, she just wants the property used, and we want to support them if we can, and try to make it a win-win deal. So I think that'll work out fine. Any questions on retreat stuff? All right, number 7, my last piece is, there have been several people over the last year, actually a number of people that have been interested in joining Cornerstone, but we haven't had any member class, we haven't had any welcome class, we haven't had anything like that because of COVID.
Are we even members? Because we never.
Well, we are. We have extended grace. It's just like student loans. You don't have to membership is, yeah, so we're not going to have a new membership this year, just because we don't know what all the serving things are, and that's the core of our membership is finding roles to serve. But I will say that we do have some holes in serving. Jim's here. You got any holes, Jim, with operations, or are you guys in good shape? Or?
Right now, it's pretty good.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right now, I think it is.
Okay. One of the needs, I'll mention 2 needs. George Perkins could use some people that would be regular in doing a rotation for ushering. Since we're at a new facility and we've got a mass group and things like that, it's just nice if we can greet people at the door. We don't have Leland Sasser anymore. Greet people at the door and help them to find the place in Pleasant Home. So contact George if you're interested in helping out sometime with ushering. But then Ashley has been single-handedly carrying Kids Club, well, she and Drew, ever since, what, November?
Yeah.
Yeah, since November. Time enough to where she got through all 10 commandments, and we're now at Pleasant Home, and we want to get back to doing Kids Club every other week. Do you want to talk about it, Ashley?
Sure.
Okay, come on up.
I'm not preparing anything for
And
this.
talk about what needs you have.
Okay. Well, and you and I haven't talked about this, but so Ginny.
Surprise me.
I'm gonna surprise you. Ginny has had Kids Club and Tater Tots the last 2 weeks, and she is loving it. So her proposal, I'll tell you this now. Her proposal is on the off weeks when we don't have Kids Club, she would love to have Kids Club and Tater Tots do a joint class. So we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about
Anyways,
it.
there's a
I
potential.
also like having kids in church.
Yes. So when we do start Kids Club, which will not be this weekend, but the next weekend, Kids Club is for ages, well, 1st grade through 5th grade. And there's a huge need for volunteers. Shauna, last year when we were meeting and everything was normal, was keeping me afloat with high school helpers, but I would really love some adult helpers. And then if there's people who are interested in teaching, I have a curriculum. You get a whole leader's guide. It'll tell you exactly what to do, what games to play, what video to do. But especially doing children's ministry and admin stuff now, it would be nice to sometimes have a week where I'm in service rather than with kids. So if you're interested in teaching, I promise you don't have to like do anything crazy. It's all set out for you. We are starting a new curriculum. So if you're interested in teaching, I could definitely use volunteers for that, or even just an adult volunteer, as well as any high schoolers who want to volunteer. I would take that too. So.
Good, thank you, yeah, that's it.
What room are these kids club
Oh, I don't know if you need me up here. We're gonna be upstairs. So if you go upstairs, and normally you would go left and there's the nursery, you would go right and they have another room for us down there that we can use. So.
Is it pretty big? Or?
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
big. Yeah, they use it for, there's a homeschool group that uses, I was out there when the homeschool group was in there. Wasn't that the room?
Different room. That's nursery now.
Oh, that's nice.
It's just, it has less toys in there, which is actually great.
Is it similar size to the room?
It might be a little smaller than nursery, but it's set up similar to Virginia's is, where it has tables and chairs. I probably only have on a good week in kids club, maybe 15. So I don't have a huge group. I don't need like a gigantic space or anything like that. But there's another room that we could use too that they use for their youth space, which is bigger, but it has like skee ball and
Yeah,
too
it's got
many
too
things for my
many
fifth grade boys to like really want to play with. So the room with less in it might be better.
We feel kind of rich at Pleasant Home because there are all these room options that we've never had. Like, well, which room are we going to use today? So anyway, membership class, February 21st, that's a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, right here in this room, we're going to have a membership, a newcomers reception class. So if you're new to the church and are looking to ask some questions or just to hear kind of what is the heart of the church, I want to invite you to that. Ashley's already made a form which we'll put on Slack, and we'll talk about it at church too, where you can sign up for that so we know who's coming for that membership class on the 21st. So speaking of forms, one of the things that parents have asked for in youth ministry is to be able to pay online for retreats and things like that. We're moving totally to online, beginning with the next pay retreat too. So we'll have a form for that. I'm done.
You done? Well, good. By the way, you might see Barry walking by your house. How many miles are you going down this in week?
Well, I went 5 today, 5.5 today.
So if you see him, just say hi as he walks by.
Don't honk at me, it scares me. And I don't look in cars.
This time we're going to hand the action out to you guys. So do you have any new business, anything you want to bring up? And if you're online, maybe you can.
I have just a question. Are there any other things like that where we're having church that they have any other needs or anything, or is there any possibility of having like a cleanup day or something if we end up still being there in the spring? Like or have they mentioned anything?
You want to?
Well, you could just as well. They've not asked us for anything. And we're trying to be really good guests at this point, and we're developing a relationship with Pleasant Home. We're really delighted with it. Everything that, every little thing we've asked for, they've been more than accommodating. And so we're just taking we've had 2 dates now, and it's been pretty positive. We're not engaged yet, but 2 good dates. And one of the things that Mark Steger actually has been helping out on the last week or so is upgrading their internet. Believe it or not, they have DSL. For those of you, yeah, that is basically a phone line, is what that is. And so Mark found out that Comcast Cable actually services the area. So hopefully this week they're going to get installed Comcast Cable, which will be cheaper than what they're paying for DSL, believe it or not. So, you know, things like that, little by little, we'll help out where we can, and there may be more ways we can help out. We don't want to overwhelm, we just want to let the relationship grow.
That's good. Nobody likes the pushy, relationship too early. Anything else? Anything online?
I was gonna look.
All right. Oh, we can see,
We're all gonna look.
I don't know what we have. Oh, yuck.
What about Trout Creek Camp for a giveaway? That's a good idea.
Oh,
Or for a retreat. Lindsay, you took my idea. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I love this replay of Mark.
Yeah.
they probably could use a giveaway because last summer, they had to really change a lot of their camps. They couldn't have any overnight camps. And we got a refund for our kids, at least partial refund. So they had to do a lot last year, and I don't know
Yeah,
what their needs are, but my guess is they
they probably could.
It would be good to have a member of Cornerstone kind of be the focal point of that and work with Barry to put together the
Would
plan.
Lindsay like to do that?
I didn't want to sign up Lindsay, well, she wasn't here, but.
I don't know.
Good idea. Good idea. Okay. Anything else? If not, then
Andrew's sponsor.
I was gonna ask, as it is appropriate or when it's appropriate, I would be curious what we can do differently to make ourselves better welcome at Pleasant Home. Like at the end of services, I look around, pick up a few pieces of paper that are on the floor, things like that. I know they have a janitor and all that, but as the relationship goes, I would love to hear more about feedback on what we can do.
that would be good. We probably need to set up something so that we get a weekly
Yeah,
feedback.
yeah.
mechanism.
I noticed
Yeah,
that.
we're supposed to leave it exactly the way we found it.
Yeah,
And,
we should probably check in. Somebody will
cheers,
figure
yeah,
that
and
out.
we may be messing up already and don't even know it.
Yep,
So,
yep. That's a good one, Brian. Thank you. Okay, well, with that, Mark Moffat's going to close for us.
Let's pray. God, it's been good to look back this last year and to see how you've moved and how you've worked in a tough year. Your provision for your church has just been amazing, as Ryan has showed us. And your people that are faithful and keep giving is a testament to their love for you. And we are thankful. We're thankful too, God, for the staff that is working so hard at Cornerstone right now. I view them as kind of volunteer positions, even though they're staff, because their heart, you can see their heart for the ministry. And I thank you for each one and how they've continued to serve our church and to serve our youth, and our youth in a good spot because of relationships that they've built, and we are really grateful for that. And we're grateful for a pleasant home and a place to meet together, and a place that we can help us to be really good guests, and a place where they don't mind having us, in fact, like having us around. And I thank you for the fact that we can rely on you going forward. As we face uncertain times, we know that you never change. You will build your church, and so we trust in that. Be with us as we head home tonight. give us safety in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mark, and thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.